welcome back to episode 25 of the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast. Day 2 of this week's Crazy Hockey Dads Mini-Camp.
Mini-Camp Day 2.
That's right.
Here we go. The tools in the toolbox.
That's right. Coming straight from the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast, the unfiltered podcast for hockey parents. No politics, no sugarcoating, just real talk from hockey parents in the trenches.
And I think some of us are going to be starting to throw grenades from those trenches soon.
Listen, let's hope it doesn't. But let me tell you, that's a great segue.
You like that?
Yeah. So before you start throwing grenades, I'm
a professional.
Okay. So what movie is that from?
What? I'm a professional or throwing grenades?
Well, I guess either one at this point.
I don't know. I'm trying to think what movie you're leaning on.
I'm not leaning on anything.
Oh.
You repeated it a few times, so I thought it was a movie quote.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I was saying I'm a professional.
Oh, you were so professional.
Listen, 26 episodes in, I'm a professional.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not a professional.
100%.
Definitely not.
When I open up Webster's and I look up professional,
you see my picture?
100%.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, getting back to it. So before you
Day
throw
2.
grenades.
Before you throw grenades.
So communication. Don't let things build up. Don't let things bottle up. Say it out loud.
Day 2, communication is key.
Yeah, don't bottle it up.
With coaches, other parents, manager, your kid, right?
Yep.
Hopefully you don't have to talk to a parent about their kid. But no, communication I think is huge in this game.
Yeah, and also without saying anything.
Saves a lot of heartache.
Look, when you don't say anything, I'll keep it on myself. I start to tell myself stories as to like why someone's behaving a certain way.
Yeah.
And the truth is, talking to them, look, there are lines, right? And there are going to be moments where it may or may not be a good idea to talk about some of this stuff. And we can't go through every iteration of this, like these moments when we're going to have to make certain decisions about speaking up or not. But, if something is bothering you and, you use your rational, sane human being meter.
Yes.
Right.
Well said.
Yeah. So, by talking about things, it prevents resentment from building up. Right. But the important thing
prevents
is,
a lot of things.
Right.
Like
in part, but harboring these negative feelings.
No question.
Look, but there's also a way to go about having certain conversations that may be difficult. And, what are some of the things we're talking about? You mentioned, if there's potentially something between like kids, if there's maybe bullying, let me go in that direction.
Yeah.
Or if it's a coach and it's ice time, or there's something in the parent mix that just isn't
playing time,
or something like off the ice between families in hotels where you're traveling, stuff comes up. Stuff comes up. So, but I think it's important when we talk about these things, not, to talk. When I was in school, one of my teachers had once said, like, you want to relay things as the camera sees it.
Oh, interesting.
Not turn the audio off, but just as the camera sees it. And the idea there is that you're reciting facts and you're not necessarily color commentating is what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And adding judgment, right? So obviously speak up, but be thoughtful, do it with intention, abide by the 24-hour rule.
That is huge,
right?
To day 2. The 24-hour rule is huge because how many parents have gotten themselves in trouble where they hit send way too soon? Right? Whether it's a text message or email,
I don't think a parent's ever done that.
Never.
Not once.
Not even a little bit. The 24-hour rule is a huge part of day 2 communication.
And shit, let's make it. You can even make it 36.
The more, the better, by the way.
Because like the 24-hour rule, all of a sudden is like the game finishes at 3 p.m. on Sunday, and then 9 a.m. on Monday is when the email is going out.
Listen, you're not wrong. The longer, the better, in my opinion.
The longer, the better.
It's never as bad as you think it is in your own head. Never.
No, like your worst fears rarely come true. Rarely come true.
You always make the mountain, not always, but a lot of us make the mountain out of the molehill.
Right. But with that, let's also say that while communication is very important, the other thing is there can be over communication.
Also true.
And I think we were talking about this before we started recording, but there, we've both been in the presence of parents that are like waiting outside the
rink door.
But not the rink door into the building.
No, I mean like the rink door to come off the ice.
To come off the ice, right. We've seen parents just waiting. and waiting.
That's not how you want to communicate with your coach.
No, probably not.
And can I just tell you, that kid did not last long on that hockey team. The one in I saw, situation. The mother who literally met the coach at the rink door to get off the ice.
Yeah, that ends up being that's like a part-time job for a coach to deal with a parent that's always waiting for them.
And Scott, it was every single game.
Yeah, it's too much.
It was crazy. Like,
right.
That's way too much communication. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And so
that's not abiding by the 24-hour rule.
Right. And so that said, though, I think, look, there are always going to be people on all sides of the curve when, with any of these things that come up. But, if you have a moment where you think you're unsure potentially inside whether or not like your actions, or your words are the right fit for the situation, like bounce it off someone that you trust on the team or a family member. The family member piece, if it's they're not, if they don't understand like hockey culture, there's some things might not,
they may not translate.
Right.
But for the most part, it's common sense stuff.
Right. But
so a rational person can have a conversation with you, even if they don't know the hockey world.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But, the same way that we talk to each other.
Yeah, when you called me the other day.
And again, no doubt there's plenty of people listening that have their, their person, their people that they confide in and talk to and probably, complain to and all that shit.
Yeah.
So find those people in your network and talk to them about things. But if you have some level of uncertainty about how to approach a situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's a very, very simple thing. Like you said, don't over communicate and make sure that you communicate. Even if it's with your kid, right? I mean, make sure you communicate with your kid too. I mean, they're also part of it. These tools that we're giving, over this 5-day period, to try to, help the hockey parent navigate the new season that's upon us. That's important too, to do with your own child.
Right. So, and we talk often enough about not giving into those immediate, what am I trying to say? We shouldn't give into those moments where we just can't help ourselves in saying something to our kid, right? Like we want to give it time,
some discipline,
and then when we revisit it, when the time, like let's just say, you want to wait 24 hours. Let's say,
whatever the time period.
Timmy just had a really fucking bad game, right? Timmy just shit the bed, and Timmy's dad is not happy about that, right? So at some point, it's not unreasonable to talk to your kid if they had a really bad game about like, hey, what was going on with you?
Of course,
but there's many ways to approach that. So what we're saying, right, is like give it 24 hours, 36 hours. And then what I would say, and these are some things that I've tried to use myself, is that instead of saying, you should have, or
I was just going to say that. I'm glad you're going down this road.
Don't give statements, ask questions.
Yes. You don't want to say you could have, you didn't, you won't, you never.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's ways to communicate that get your point across, but don't make your kid feel like shit.
No, I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah. And so let's just take effort, right? That's something that amongst parents, we talk about.
It's a big thing.
A kid's effort, right? And let's just say game in and game out, there's like, you're seeing repetitive behavior of what seems to be a lack of effort.
Okay.
Right. And you want to address that with your kid. Right. So before you do that, and what does that question look like? Would you say like, hey, have you been feeling okay?
Yeah.
Or have you have you been tired recently? Like, or how would you approach something like that?
So it's funny you say that, because you ever notice how like, I've noticed a bunch of times with Dom that Nancy and I are like, wow, he was kind of off. Like, I wonder what the story there is. And then he gets sick the next day.
Oh, there you go.
Right? Like, does that not happen a lot? It sure as hell happens a lot in my house.
Does it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
not to say like my kids get sick a lot, but like, but it's always something with these kids. And listen, they're young and they're fragile, and when I say fragile, I mean like their minds, because they're still developing, right? It could be this easiest thing, like they had an argument with their older brother or their sibling or their teammate in the locker room, and it just throws them for a loop.
Right.
I think sometimes we expect more from these kids at these young ages. And I don't think that's, looking back, I think we probably expect too much from them.
Right. So, okay. So, and I think that happens a lot. And so I guess what I'm trying to tease out, and I quite frankly don't necessarily know that I have clear, very like crystal clear thoughts on this, but when you have, again, a perceived lack of effort, and again, I keep on coming to that because it's kind of top of mind right now.
How do you talk about it?
Yeah. And like in terms of strategies, because at some point, like your kid might not be,
Well, so I think number one, you need to, we're talking about being sick. Like you need to kind of poke around the edges and kind of find out if they're okay. Right? I think that's probably number one.
It could physically or
mentally,
or maybe it's something
sure.
in the locker room.
Whatever
like
it
that
is.
happens before the game and is translating on the ice is like,
Again,
my kid's upset.
These kids are fragile. The littlest thing, the argument with their best friend can throw them for a loop. Right? So I think you poke around the edges with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And once you get through that, you kind of got to peel back the layers of the onion a little bit as a parent, but do it in a methodical, I don't want to say gentle way because that's not the word I'm looking for, but I think you could do it in a methodical way where you then kind of maybe get to the root of the problem. Because listen, they could maybe just not like the game anymore, or they weren't feeling well. Listen, sometimes we expect these kids to be on all the time too. Sometimes they can't be on all the time. Sometimes there's nothing wrong. It's just a rough day.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you, I play pickleball at a pretty high level. For those of you who know me, and sometimes I just suck. It just happens. Sometimes it's just bad.
But you're like a fucking stud.
Well, yeah, that's fine and all, but sometimes I suck even though I'm a stud.
Dude, I mean,
I know, because I know. Of course, my pickleball pro has to call me while we're doing this, like 10 minutes ago, and you actually heard her. The woman that I hit with is pretty impressive. But she'll tell you she sucks sometimes too.
Everyone does sometimes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's part of
what
life.
I mean. It happens. Sometimes your mind's just not with it. Again, if adults are having those problems, you don't think kids are?
Right.
And adults have a hard time dealing with them, let alone children.
No doubt.
Right? We have more tools in our toolbox to deal with them, and sometimes we expect too much of our kids.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the tools that we have.
And like just about that effort piece, and again, there's so many other things that'll pop up that you might question whether or not your kid's performing at his best, but with the effort thing in particular, like that could be a reasonable question to ask the coach. Be like, hey, listen.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
What do you think? Because this is
talking about communication, right? There you go.
But again, so
just don't ask the coach what's wrong with my fucking kid, or what the fuck did you do to my kid?
Oh, I mean like blaming him?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. But what I was about to say was just like connecting some dots about communication. Earlier, we were talking about not over communicating.
Right.
So if you're going to talk to the coach, I think it makes sense to schedule time, right?
Yeah.
Like so first you want to wait. You want to give it 24 to 36 to make sure that you're clear in what it is that you want to talk about.
And he'll be clear also if there's like a thing there, right?
Right. But you just want to have that like sanity check on your own end, feeling like, okay, I'm out of the heat of the moment. Does it still really matter, or was I just being crazy?
You do not want to communicate with emotions that are running.
Right. So you let that settle, and then if it's something that you feel like you want to talk to the coach about for perspective, then you're going to want to schedule some time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Before a practice, after a practice,
whatever it might be, but schedule the time as opposed to
or on the phone or whatever it is, whatever you guys are going to do.
Right. But don't be the parent that's always like hanging out by like the door, just like waiting to talk to them.
Because you're just a problem then.
Right. Well, I guess the problem comes if you're doing that habitually. Like if
you're someone that, if you do it once, it's fine. But if you're doing it every time, like that one mom that I knew.
Yeah. And then from there, then that's like a healthy, reasonable, mature way to like get some information about something that you're struggling with, and then I think again, with the effort piece, you might want to, as a parent, understand like if the coach is aligned with like, let's say, oh yeah, I noticed that Timmy has not been performing.
Then maybe the two of you can help fix it.
And then maybe as a parent, you might be like, all right, like, is there anything like what are you going to reinforce with him on the ice
that I could say to him at home?
At home, so we're on the same page.
And you kind of tag team the situation,
right?
Yeah. Again, it's all about communication, right? Open lines of communication, which is a good life skill, not just
and
not just in the hockey world.
But then speaking of the life skill piece, also talking about like raising like good kids and with good habits and all those things. There are going to be situations also where like your kid might be down, but he recognizes that maybe he's not playing that well. And he, that's a moment where you can be like, listen,
you can talk to me.
You can talk to me as your parent.
As your dad, yeah.
But at the same time, where I was going with this is you could also talk to the coach And this is an opportunity to teach kids how to advocate for themselves, right? So if they're having a problem, if they have questions, if they have concerns, as opposed for our kids to also keep that inside and tell them stories that may or may not be true, because feelings aren't facts.
That's true.
Right?
Very
so
true.
you can encourage your kid to talk to an adult,
Absolutely.
have a conversation that might touch on negative feedback, or that might, in their eyes, feel somewhat confrontational, even though that's probably not the right word, but like a conversation that is where they might not be getting the most positive response, right? So this is teaching them to have those conversations.
Listen, again, we talk about life skills all the time, right? I mean, we're going to kind of go back to day one for a second. We talk about, giving them life skills, why we're doing this, right? All this stuff is a life skill. Communication is a life skill, right?
Right.
So you're right. There is a kids component to it too. Them talking to us, them talking to the coach, advocating for themselves. That's huge.
And I think, and I've heard this on other podcasts, like parenting podcasts, I talk with my wife, but you'll often hear about, your kids are going to model like your behavior.
Yes, they will.
Right. So if they see mom and dad, like, clearly communicating, communicating in healthy ways, not like the yelling, not doing it under emotions. Like that's also you're setting an example for your kids, right?
No question.
So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No.
So be a rational, sane, like adult, and just get your stuff together before you start,
absolutely
talking about difficult things.
Yeah.
And then, that's also going to help your kid out,
Yes.
Because they'll handle conflict the way you do, most likely.
100%.
Right.
No question about it. And that's why the 24-hour rule is so important. Not just with ice hockey.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No, it's huge. It really is. It's funny. I actually see Dominic pulling in right now.
Oh,
That car that's turning around. Dom's coming home from practice.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen. So day two. Speak up. Don't keep things like inside. Don't let them build up. Use your network.
Yes.
Use the team manager.
Use
your coaches, but always make sure. Give yourself 24 to 36 to make sure you get some perspective. If you're unsure on how to handle the situation, lean into your hockey parent network.
Absolutely.
Balance things off friends and family.
Ask somebody a buddy of yours on the team, to talk to them. It, like you did with me, it does help. Communication is huge. Don't hit send when it's not necessary to hit send, right? Like you were going to call that, you were going to talk to that coach that one day. And when you spoke to me, you didn't wind up doing that.
Oh, I definitely thought about it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So, and that, looking back on that was a very smart way to reach out and tamp down a situation that was bigger in your head than it was in reality.
Yeah. And once you let 24 to 36 go by, you're just like,
things dissipate.
It really wasn't anything.
They dissipate. Exactly right. Yeah.
So
good.
Man. Communication.
Day 2 in the books.
In the books.
Yeah. What do we got lined up for tomorrow?
Oh, that is a great question.
For Wednesday, day 3.
Oh, well, this one is, I think, a great one. And it's really teaching kids, or just talking about comparisons and keeping the focus on themselves and staying present.
Yes. Managing your expectations.
Yeah.
Right? Of your child. Again, why we're doing this. Right. And that will probably help. I think that will save a lot of heartache if you manage expectations kind of going into the season. Yeah. Right. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow.
All right, my man.
Awesome, man.
All right.
It was good. All right. See you tomorrow.
In the books, day
Later.
2.
See ya.